welcome homeowners and future electricians, another segment of Homeowners Electrical Professor. And in this scenario, I'm going to start talking about what's known as the switch loop, which is no longer National Electrical Code compliant. You might open up a switch box and find there's only one piece of 14.2. Remember on the other segments I showed you, you'd have a feed coming in, then a switch light going to the light. Well, back in the day, I'm talking older houses, before the 70s probably, what they would do is bring the hot feed into the light overhead, and they would connect the neutral right to the silver screw on the light fixture, and then they could make a splice with the black hot wire to the white wire going down to the switch, and then the black wire would be on the other side of the switch and would come up and connect to the brass screw on the light fixture. And what they would do is take this white wire where it was visible inside the box with some black tape at the light fixture and at the switch. So in this piece of 14.2 here, you don't have any neutral. It's just this white wire taped black is now the hot feed going to the switch, and then the black conductor coming back would be the switch leg. Hopefully they did it that way and not the other way where they would use the black wire here and the white wire there. That can get a little confusing in the box, but this is no longer acceptable for the code. New houses, you have to have a neutral present basically at each and every switch, okay? Now, another scenario where you might see is sometimes they would actually come in with your 110 volt feed into light and do a feed out. And I've actually seen older houses where the whole first floor, say like a rancher, where they would come into each light fixture, feed in, feed out, and then drop a switch leg down to the switch. It's old time, you might run into it, depends on when your house was built, okay? And it's the same scenario. They do a splice in here so the neutral feeds through, they do a splice in here so the hot wire feeds through, and then they would splice down to the switch, come back up the switch, connect the neutral up here right to the silver screw on the light. The switch leg coming from the switch would connect to the brass screw. So if you open up a box and you only see one wire in there, refer to these two diagrams. This might be what you have there, okay? All right, so here we have an example of a switch loop. I don't have this in my house, so I couldn't go into my house and show you, so I made up an example of it here. And you can see we have our hot feed that comes into the light box. Could be in the ceiling, could be a wall sconce, doesn't matter. So anyway, here's our feed in. The black or ungrounded conductor splices onto the white wire that goes down to the switch. Okay, now imagine this is all sheetrocked. So when you look into the switch box, you only see one cable coming in with a black and a white. So I tape this black up here, which hopefully it would be taped just like that. So now the 120 volt comes in here, goes down here on the white conductor that's taped black, comes into here, attaches to the switch with a nice termination. Look at my termination videos, you can see how I like to make them, okay? Then the return back up to the light is the black conductor here, which goes right to the brass screw on our light fixture, or the black wire if you had wires in your light fixture. And then my neutral that goes on the feed in is attached to the silver screw here. So now when I turn this light on, that is a switch loop right there.